Good morning, everybody. I wanted to pop on here today on a Saturday and check in with you guys. I've been talking to a lot of people, and myself included in this group. Things have been definitely amplifying. So, people don't experience the ascension the same way every single day, but there are themes. There are themes, and there are things that go on, and we kind of experience different things throughout the ascension process, individually and as groups. But that doesn't mean that, on the sometimes, on the very same day, we will experience these energies. Like the same. We might be having a rough day all on like a Wednesday or something like that. So, you know, I just wanted to pop here and say that if you are experiencing, ascension symptoms and all of these things are coming up, do not backslide. So I'm going to talk today about the title of this video. Hi, Sonia. How you doing? The title of this video today is what to do in high flux times. So flux is this fluctuating energy from, high to low. And some of us have a different view of what we think a high vibration is, right? So for somebody like myself, I am operating at a high frequency, but that doesn't mean that I am super happy all the time, right? I struggle with depression. As an artist, I think a lot of artists struggle with this creative depression. If we're not creating, then we kind of feel this depression, this lack of vitality. And I think for people also in the awakening, if they're not fully ingrained into their purpose, they also feel this. Like, I know I'm here to do this great thing, but I don't know what it is to do yet. I don't know what my purpose is. Or you may have gotten an inkling, but you still kind of feel this. And as we go through the ascension process, as we heal and as we go through healings of our chakra systems, of our energetic bodies, we will experience an amplification of some of these old stagnant emotions. So I talked about this during the full moon. When the full moon comes around, I usually have a lot of dreams where specifically of an ex-girlfriend in college, and I had this very traumatic thing happen with heartache and heartbreak. And always during the full moon, I have dreams of this girl that reoccurs and comes up during that time because it's a deep repressed emotion that I repress the pain. So as we go through these different times, we all as a collective of light workers will experience, and healers, or if you're watching this video, I'm assuming you're tied into the awakening. So we will experience varying degrees of emotions that come up to the surface. And if we have the awareness to realize that they're there to be purged, rather than step into a state of fear while these things are happening, we can look at ourselves with eyes of compassion and realize that we are healing. But a lot of times when this stuff comes up, it almost seems as though we're not connected to spirit, we're backsliding into old behaviors. And this is a dangerous place to be, because if we don't have this awareness that I just spoke about the purging and the healing, we can very easily get discouraged with what is appearing in our outside reality. So just remember that as we go through these purges and these energetic shifting points, we're at a very interesting moment in time. I think we just stepped into a new cycle. So when I learned about these cycles was about 5 to 7 years ago, and I was diving deep into this section I think it was in Deuteronomy, and they were talking about these 7-year cycles. And I looked back to my life and I kind of broke it down into these 7 years and seen if anything was happening. And the way that I understand this is that we have these 7-year cycles, and within that amount of time, there are certain things that we have agreed to learn, lessons and all of these things. And then as the next cycle comes, we're like supposed to move into that next 7 years, having brought on what we have learned from the previous 7. So if you find that cycles are repeating, behaviors are repeating, these are things that we didn't fully learn or integrate from the previous 7 years. Now, not everything is going to correlate with this 7-year cycle, but energetically, you should notice some type of patterning within your life, especially if you have an old pattern in behavior that keeps on repeating and repeating and repeating. It doesn't matter where you move, where you go, what you do. Some of this has to do with relationships. People will keep on attracting the same person into their life. This is a sure sign that you have some type of wounding, some core wounding within you that needs worked on. So today, that was a long intro, but today I want to share with you 3 main crucial areas of importance that you can focus on going into these high fluctuations, these high flux times. This doesn't have to be during the full moon, but that's a time of high flux. Right now is a time of high flux, especially going into November with all the collective energies coming from the political arena and all that stuff. There's a lot of people that are dug in, that are tied into these position points. You'll be running into some of that if you're out in the world. You're bound to run into it. I don't care if I'm a pretty reclusive person as an artist, and I still run into tons of things coming from the outside reality, because everyone is plugged into that energetic framework and that matrix. You can't escape it. You can be a beacon of light so others can see that, but you're only going to delude yourself if you think that you can hide from the world. Eventually, the world will find you. All right, so let's get into this. If you are experiencing high emotions up and down and all these things, and you want to do some things for yourself, number 1 is energetic maintenance. So what is that? As you traverse on your path, no longer are these things going to be optional, right? As healers and light workers and way showers, these things are of the paramount importance. No longer is, going to be meditation just an optional thing. You have to do this to step into more of your power. And that's why we're dealing with all these ascension symptoms, is to learn how to manage this new energetic body that we are being given by spirit. So quiet time. Everybody, if you're having just a rough time, dedicate some quiet time, 15 to 20 minutes a day. This could be something like reading a book. This could be something like laying down. Whatever it is, maybe in the mid-afternoon, you just take a reprieve. You go out, maybe you sit down somewhere in nature. Quiet time. 2, visualization techniques. This is all under energetic maintenance and some things that you can do to maintain your energetic body. Visualization techniques. There's a lot of YouTube meditations that you can look up on white light healing. There's violet flame meditations where you can envision, a violet flame around you, or gold, or some type of color that you resonate with, and visualize that around your body. Okay. I do this very often if I'm feeling drained and tired. I go through a process where I say, like, let only things from myself remain and let everything else kind of wash off of me. Meditation. This is a great way to, reset yourself. And this is why all these other things are so important, because sometimes if you're feeling, really bad and all these things, and you meditate, it can make it worse. So these are a few other things that you can do. You can take a salt bath, a bubble bath, whatever it is. And those are some things on energetic maintenance. Now, this number 2 here is huge. This mindset maintenance. Not a lot of people think about this, but because we have lived these kind of earthly personifications for many years, and we've only, recently come into our spiritual nature. It's very easy for us to backslide on our spiritual path and kind of forget what was working. So if you find that you are focusing on someone else or something, and you find that you're just constantly focusing on the problem or someone else or something else in the world, this is a surefire sign that you've kind of been knocked off of your square, and bring the focus back into what you should be doing. So this recently happened to me. I started to care what other people thought. I started to focus on what everyone else was doing, and I quickly just went down the line until I was like distraught, and all of a sudden it's like I forgot what I was doing and how much work and all of these things, because I was focused on external things and I wasn't focused on myself and what I should be doing and all of these things. So mindset maintenance is really important. Think back to what huge shifts help you the most in your spiritual awakening. Think back to those revelations that you had, those aha moments. And this is something that you may need to return to and really think about the mindsets that have helped you shift the most. One of those for me was that things will come towards me and I'm not having to chase anything. So a lot of us during this pandemic have reverted back into lack mindsets, lack mentality, victim consciousness. And that's exactly what this pandemic has done to a lot of people, myself included. It at times, it has shifted me back to this lack mentality. Oh my God, why is this happening to me? And all of this stuff. And then as that happens, doubt creeps in. So you may have to revisit mindset shifts like I am living an abundant life despite my outside circumstances. I attract great things into my life. Great things happen to me all the time, and really feel that. Maybe you have to amplify your affirmations on a daily basis now more than ever. And I suggest that everybody do this, especially if you feel like your back is up against a wall and you're kind of being forced by fear to make a decision. This is a test. This is where we bring in what we have learned on our spiritual path. Now more than ever is a time to double down on some of these things that you have learned along the way. It's so important. Number 3, the third point of what to do in high flux times: grounding and sunning. Now, I know that this sounds maybe elementary or just weird, but I'm telling you, you will feel a total shift happen if you regularly connect with the earth. Now, the best way to do this is to go outside and walk barefoot in the grass, or sit down on the ground and do a visualization technique of you being tapped into the earth's core. I have a meditation that I made that does this. And I think you can get that free meditation somewhere on my website, but it's an excellent way to ground your energy. And you will feel different. I started to do this around midday and also then in the evening, and I noticed a huge shift within the way that I kind of looked at the world. So if I didn't do that, I'm very plugged into the matrix and to the ongoings of the world. As soon as you tap into the earth energy, now you're more connected into the animal kingdom, and that level of consciousness is more grounded in nature and not in the matrix. So it's a great way to really facilitate healing. And sunning. So just, don't look directly into the sun, obviously, but sitting in meditation, letting the sun hit your skin, having that sun come into you, visualizing the sun going into each individual cell of your body will really help you. And we've had all this stuff recently about, sun and it causing cancer and all this stuff, but I feel better when I get a healthy dose of sunlight. And I don't think many people can argue that. So grounding and being in the sun is extremely important during high flux times. This will help you tremendously. And it's a very simple thing that you can do. This correlates with exercise, sitting on the earth, and I mentioned looking at the sun. So just to recap, if you're having really a lot of trouble, stress, and anxiety during these times, number one, energetic maintenance. Quiet time, visualization, meditation, and taking salt baths are great. Number two, mindset maintenance. Look at some of the teachers that you really looked up to during your awakening process and maybe revisit some of their material, revisit some of the teachings that really made a profound impact in your life, and bring those to the forefront of your mind in the morning so that they're fresh in your mind and that you can apply these spiritual principles throughout your day. Because if you wait for the day to come with no armory put in place and no mindsets that are going to help you navigate through your day, you're really setting yourself up for defeat before you even have a chance, right? So we want to be proactive and not reactive in the awakening process. And then the last thing, the grounding and the sunning is probably the easiest thing that you can do. And I encourage you to implement that into your routines. So making this video because right now there's a lot of craziness going on, and just a lot of energy. Some days I really feel it and I just am like almost out of my mind, and then the next day comes and I'm like stable and I'm strong, and I'm wondering why such the ups and downs. And then I reached out to a couple people that I work with and a couple other people. So they're experiencing similar things right now during this time period. I know that somebody that I follow, that I look up to, Lee Harris Energy, he does fantastic energy updates, and he does them similarly to what I do, although he's connected to like his guides that he gets this information from. And I kind of just use what I see and my intuitive wisdom to kind of do these things. So we have the Virgo new moon is coming up on the 17th of September. So we are, heading into a little bit of an alleviation here of this energy. Normally when the new moon comes around, we get a breath of fresh air, like with all of our plans that we're looking to kind of, bring into October. It's just been weird lately because of how the new moon and the full moon fell in the beginning of the month. But those things I wanted to share with you guys because I know those three things helped me the most right now during this time. These are things that I do. These are things that I've had to re-implement into my life recently. So I thought, why not share this? Because it could probably help a lot of people, and maybe I'll make an official video about this later on. This would also be an awesome course to outline a course and some of more specific things that you could do, maybe some healing practices. So that might be something in the future that we'll do. So Yasmin, thanks for tuning in. Thank you, Sonia. I hope you guys have a great weekend, and I will talk to you guys soon. All right. Thanks. Peace.